Welcome, everyone. Another episode of the Fred Effect weekend one-on-one session. So today we have a guest with us, and our guest was successful to secure almost more than $85,000 of scholarship to pursue her master's degree. So she's here to share her story with us, how she did it, and how you watching us can also do it. My name is Fred, and this is the Fred Effect YouTube channel. We are live on Facebook. We are also live on X, and also we are live on TikTok at the Fred Effect, and we're also live on Instagram. Tell a friend to tell a friend that this is very inspirational and motivational. It's going to be very educational. Get your pen and papers, get your notepad, get your notebook to write some key points down that would also help you. So, which university is she in that you can also apply to? What program is she reading that you can also apply to? How come she was able to get a full scholarship without having to sit for GRE, IELTS, TOEFL? How did she do it? So that you can also learn a lot from this and apply it to your study abroad journey. When people have already done something, if you learn from their blueprint, it makes it easier for you to also achieve it. Do me a favor by liking and then also sharing this live so that somebody else could also benefit from the ideas and information we are going to share today. So my name is Fred, and this has been the Fred Effect. We do this every weekend, so every weekend we'll be here, and then so this show is going to be in two parts. We will have the one-on-one interview session with our guest today, and then we'll also allow you to join in and ask the specific questions that you have. I am not the repository of knowledge, so I would allow you to also come in, and then you can also type your questions in the comments. I'll be reading them, and then we'll be responding to them to the best of our knowledge. So tell somebody that the Fred Effect is on, and also subscribe if you are yet to be part of the family. So I'm going to bring my guest on, and then she would introduce herself. She would tell us her background, where she's from, and all that, and then we'll go on with the conversation. Hi, Irene. How you doing?
Hi, how are you doing?
Thank you for willing to share your journey with us. Welcome to the Fred Effect platform. A bit of introduction to our cherished viewers who are seeing your face for the first time. Can you please introduce yourself, and which country or state are you at the moment?
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Irene. I'm originally from Ghana, but I'm in the United States. I'm in Illinois, specifically southern part of Illinois at Southern Illinois University, pursuing my master's in communications.
Wow, communications. All right. So she already mentioned the name of the school. So if you're watching, you can start googling that and all that and writing them in your notes. So tell us about what actually ignited your interest to study abroad.
So my passion or my interest to study abroad was ignited by me wanting a change in my life. Like, I got to a point where I thought it was very important that I kind of change things in my life. And of course, with the help of you, I was able to do that. So I was just tired of not finding a job in Ghana and things like that. So I decided to try the option to study abroad, which was part of my goals in life. So I decided to take that opportunity to study abroad when the time came for me.
A lot of people watching us would also want to take the same step. So tell us, has it been worth it? How has studying abroad actually changed your life?
I think studying abroad has been a life changing experience. For me, it has been very helpful for me, my personal development and my professional development as well. So, studying abroad has literally changed my whole life. It has given me a different perspective and a different outlook on life. And it has also given me so many opportunities that I would not have had in my home country in Ghana. So I would say that studying abroad is a very life changing experience. If anybody has the chance to do that, they should. You grow when you are not in your comfort zone. You grow and learn as you go through life, and so moving out of your comfort zone, which is your home country, to a different cultural setting is very helpful for your personal and professional growth. So
So you said you're originally from Ghana,
yeah.
right? Let's talk about the university that you graduated from. Did you actually came to the US as with to pursue a bachelor's degree and master's, or which university did you actually attend back home in Ghana?
Okay, so I attended the University of Cape Coast in 2014. I entered into the university in 2014 and I graduated in 2018. So I was at the University of Cape Coast. Shout outs to UCC, everybody that
Yeah.
attended UCC 2018. Shout outs to everybody. And I studied hospitality management in the University of Cape Coast. Yeah.
All right. So in your introduction, you said that you are currently pursuing communication.
Yeah,
And based on what you just said, you said you actually had a bachelor's degree in hospitality management from the University of Cape Coast.
that's correct.
So a lot of people think that if I did hospitality, why are you not pursuing hospitality now? How did were you able to switch from a bachelor's in hospitality to now reading master's in communication?
Okay, so for me, after my bachelor's education, I worked in the communication space for about, are we still live? For about 2 years. So whilst I was working as a social media manager. I was working in customer experience. I was working in the communication space, and so I felt like it was important for me to get a master's in communication because I had initially planned to have a career in communications. But I must caveat that it's very important that sometimes when you're not in a field, so like the general perception in Ghana that if you have a bachelor's degree in, let's say, hospitality, you should be able to have a master's in hospitality. But when you move away from the Ghanaian educational system here, things work differently here. You can have a master's or a bachelor's in maybe science and do something else. It depends on where you're going, what your passion and your interest is. And so building off of what you want to do is more important for people who want to pursue a master's degree. So it doesn't necessarily matter if you did science and you're in another field. So but for me, I think it was more also kind of connected because of my professional experience and what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. And so I thought that hospitality is great. Working in hospitality has been life changing for me because I'm more like a customer service person. So I felt like building or getting more skills in communication would help me leverage on my career and my passion and my future and things like that. So I'm gonna say that it doesn't matter if you did whatever course you did in Ghana for undergrad, but for your master's education, just sit down and think about yourself and where you want to go, what you want to do, and things like that. So you should be able to do any program in whatever field that you want to go into. So yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. So, if you're watching us right now, notwithstanding whatever background you have, it is possible to switch, to a different career path, and that's the beauty of graduate school. That the fact that you did a bachelor's degree in mathematics does not necessarily mean that you should only pursue a master's degree in mathematics. And I'm glad Irene is emphasizing this that she did it, and she was. We will come to your scholarship because I have had opportunity to do this process for a very long time. It's
Hmm.
a bit challenging to see people having um, everything paid for on their I-20
Hmm.
without having a deficit.
Yeah.
So you switching from hospitality management to communication, and of
Hmm.
course this was influenced by the kind of work that you were doing.
Yeah.
Were you scared that you were not going to be admitted? What happened? Tell us.
Okay. So I think that I had some kind of fears into what exactly the graduate school was looking out for and how I could get it. And here is an opportunity for me to elaborate further or reiterate further that um, the way you articulate your goals on paper, the way you talk about your future goals in your statement of purpose, which is a requirement for you to get into graduate school, is very important. So I was able to go straight to the point and tell them, here are my goals. This is what I want to do. This is where I'm at. This is where I want to go to, and things like that on paper. So I was able to articulate what my intentions with graduate school was, and so that was one of the reasons why I was able to get in. But I also would say that sometimes it's not also about writing and articulating and talking about it. It's just about having a good relationship with the admissions officers, where you're initially, probably I might be getting ahead of myself, but where you are introducing yourself to them and then you're letting them know who you are. So one of the mistakes that we do in Ghana is that when we're applying to schools, unlike here in the US, when you're applying to schools, we're literally just applying without trying to establish some kind of contact with the admission officers. So here you would want to email them, tell them who you are, ask for information and things like that. And when you do that, they are able to know you. So this is like something that's natural. People like people they know. People would favor people they know. And so if you're getting out of your comfort zone to network and to introduce yourself to the people that are on their graduate admissions committee, you are letting them know that, hey, if there's an opportunity, or if there's something that you, or if there's somebody you're looking for to fill this position, I am ready to do that. And so emailing them, introducing yourself to them, and also just trying to let them know who you are could also get you into the graduate program, which is what I did, of course, with your help. So that's something that people should pay much attention to and focus on. So you're not just applying as like a blind applicant, you're introducing yourself to them, you're letting them know you. That way, if there's an opportunity, they can be like, hey, I remember talking to this person via email, and so I can offer this person the position or the opportunity. So yeah.
So Irene is actually dropping a lot of gist and information here. She has done it, and she's telling you how she did it and what you can also learn from it. I know you're taking a lot of lessons. You're live here on the Fred Effect content platform. We happen to be the biggest study abroad content creation platform from as an African. You can follow us on Facebook. It's the Fred Effect. We are also live on YouTube. Is the Fred Effect. Send in your questions and then let us know which country you're watching us from. Irene says he's from Ghana. Irene, which part of Ghana are you from?
I'm from Accra. I'm from Osu and Dabadi, so I'm from Accra itself.
Right. So let us know which country you're watching us from. What's the time at your end? So it's currently like 1 p.m. at my end. Irene, what's your time?
It's currently 12:07 because we're in the central time zone. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. So let us know which country you're watching us from and let us know the specific questions you have in the comments as well. Are you watching us on Facebook? Is it on YouTube or X? Or are you joining us from TikTok or Instagram? Great. We are going to continue. So you said you have to repeat the name of your university again to my listeners. So if you are listening, you can put the name of the university down and also do your research. It could also be that you are not interested in communication but other programs as well. So, Aaron, what's the name of your university again?
Southern Illinois University, Carbondale.
Right. So, I know there are about three campuses. Would you want to talk about that?
Okay, so yeah, Southern Illinois University is under a flagship management, which means that they're under a central management, which has like different campuses in different cities in Illinois. So I am from the Carbondale campus. There is another branch in Edwardsville, which is SIUE, but more specifically, where I am at is SIUC because we are based in Carbondale, Illinois.
Awesome. So, what other universities did you actually apply to? Did you know that you're going to get a full scholarship at Southern Illinois, so you didn't apply to any other school?
So, Fred, this is very, it's a funny story, but I would have to talk about it anyway. So, the thing is, if you are eager to do something, yeah, if you're willing to do something, you have the zeal to do it, you are not just looking at putting your egg in one basket. For me, I was eager to apply. I was eager to, let me put it quote unquote, leave Ghana. So I tried as much as possible to cast my net very wide and apply to a number of schools. So I applied to 8 schools in total. So
Wow.
yes.
Wow. So if you have your paper, your pen ready, Irene is going to walk us through some of the schools she remember applying to. So did you apply to communication to all these schools, or you were also looking at the hospitality management, which you studied at your bachelor's degree level?
Funny enough, I did not apply to the hospitality program because I was certain in my mind that I didn't want to go into the hospitality industry. I'm not saying it's a bad place to work or whatever, but I just wanted to leverage more on my skills and experience in communications and use that for my career. So I actually did not look into working into the hospitality industry. So I was basically just applying to communications. I think I remember applying for social work also because I had the passion to work with nonprofit organizations and working with kids and stuff like that. So I also sent a few applications to some universities. I don't think that I remember everything, but I also, that's what I did. So communications and social work and just in the social sciences and the humanities. So that's where I applied to.
Somebody's giving you a shout out here. He said his name is Michael. No, his name is Uswani Kizito. He said, "Wow, Irene, my friend. Is he your friend?"
Oh, I actually don't remember, but hey, hi.
All right. So Kizito, Irene is also saying hi. Right. So let's see. You applied to a school. So if you're watching us right now, do not put your eggs in one basket, right? So Irene, somebody would then ask if you have already, applied to a school that you think you're going to gain admission in, you've already spoken to the director and all that. Why then spend extra effort time to apply to other 7 schools in addition to the 8 school?
Because like I'm saying, like if you're eager to do something, right, you do not want to put all your eggs in one basket. And that's one mistake that I think most people make when they're like applying to study abroad. They're just focused on one university. But hey, it's not even about just focusing on one school. It's like going to the best university that's going to give you more money, like in terms of funding, that's going to take care of your tuition, your whatever. And so you are not just looking into applying to just one university. So don't make that mistake of just applying to just one university because you know that you're going to get in. Mind you, there are other competitors, there are other people who also have a stronger statement of purpose, also have like enough experience that you do have. And so you do not want to just apply to one university and be like, hey, for all you know, for study abroad students or people who are trying to study abroad, the thing is that you want to go into for the school that gives you more money. So we're not paying out of pocket. We're trying to get the school to fund us and things like that. And so getting to get into the program that offers you more money and more experience is what should be looking out for. So you might not want to say that, oh, because I'm just focused on maybe one university, I should apply there. Cast your net wide, try and build a lot of experience, build a lot of put in a lot of work. And trust me, it's not easy because imagine applying to 8 universities and modifying your statements of purpose 8 times because you might not want to reproduce the same information that you have in your statement of purpose for university A to university B because you want to talk more about, if you've done your research well, you want to talk about the facilities they have, people that you want to work with, and things like that. So there shouldn't be like a generic statements of purpose that you have that you're using to apply for all these universities. You're constantly modifying and changing the things that you have in your SOP, and so it's a lot of work. If you're lazy, I don't think study abroad is for you. If you give up easily, I don't think study abroad is for you. If you're not a go-getter, I don't think study abroad is for you, because the information is out there, but you have to put in the work. And so for people that sit in Ghana, I see people who sometimes send messages and they're like, "Oh, could you apply for me and do this?" I think that's, you're doing yourself a great service if you are not willing to put in the work, but you want to leave Ghana and travel out without putting in the work. Mind you, you were coming into a different culture, different country, and here it's like survival of the fittest. The person that works more is the person that gets whatever they want. So if you're lazy and you don't want to put in the work, study abroad is not for you. If you don't take no as an answer and you're just a go-getter, this is what you should be doing.
So on a lighter side, a lot of people are loving your accent. So somebody is asking, has Irene always spoken like this? Okay, Irene, would you want to respond to that?
So it's funny. I haven't always spoken like this. I think this is one of the things that being outside of Ghana exposes you to. So it's not just, sometimes people, and let me put it out there, people think that sometimes we're talking like this because we're learning and we're faking it and things like that. When you're in the system, you don't want to talk to somebody who is always going to ask you to repeat yourself and be like, huh, what are you saying? And things like that. So you want to talk in the way that the person you're communicating with will be able to understand you. That way it's not like a barrier or a challenge that is preventing you from talking or expressing yourself. So I haven't always spoken like this. I think being exposed to this environment and being exposed to the things that I have been exposed to here has kind of modified my experiences and who I am in totality. So sometimes you have people making fun of you, like, oh, you're just faking it, it's just an accent and things like that. But once you're here, you have to modify it. There's this change that happens that you don't even notice that you're changing. Like once you're in the system, you automatically change, and then this is more part of the experience and who you are and what study abroad and being outside of your home country does to you. So it's not like I'm always, no, I haven't always spoken like this.
Right. And that was on the lighter side. Masood Bensa is saying, tell Irene to give me a shout out.
Hello, Masood.
All right, so Masood, there you go. So that was a very important point you made there.
Yeah.
That you don't put your eggs in one basket, and the
Hmm.
second important point is that if you're applying to the same communication program in a number of schools, do not copy and paste the same thing for all the schools. So what
Hmm.
happens is that even though it could be the same communication, different departments have different focus. And
Hmm.
so the communication program at, let's say, Southern Illinois University Carbondale may not necessarily be the same as Purdue University. So
Yes.
you would want to modify it to suit the purpose for which that program was created. And that's what a lot of people, mistakes a lot of people make. So I'm glad you touched on that.
Yeah.
So let's move on. So if you're watching us now, you're welcome. Somebody's asking us that you should walk us through your process. We'll come to that.
Okay.
So let's talk about the universities, the other universities that you did not go to but actually apply to. So that if somebody is watching us now, interested in whatever program, especially communication, they should look out for.
Yeah. So I remember, I think I should have made a list of this, but I didn't. I remember applying to Purdue University, which is one of the best universities in the United States for especially the communication program. And happily enough, I got in, I got accepted into Purdue, but I did not get the funding that I wanted. So I would have ended up with a deficit. I would have ended up with something different from what I have now. So Purdue offered me admission, but I was not able to go because I did not have funding for Purdue, which was very expensive if I had to pay out of pocket. So I remember Purdue. I remember applying to Miami University. I remember applying to University of Alabama. So these are universities in the United States that have the best communication programs. So if you're in the program and you're going for there's this conference for communication students called the National Communication Association. If you're in the United States and you're going for NCA, you realize that these are very good schools or universities for communication. So Purdue, Miami, Alabama. I think I applied to University of Southern Illinois. I mean, I don't remember the
Yeah.
4 other schools, but yeah, these are some of the schools that I applied to.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. So I have been typing the names of the schools Irene is mentioning in the
Mm-hmm.
chat. And so you can also check them out. You are not too late. There's still an opportunity for you to apply. Now, the whole idea for this section is to also motivate and encourage you that it is possible. You can do
Mm-hmm.
it. Some of
Yeah.
us are able to achieve it, and so can you. So somebody's asking us on TikTok, can you walk us through how did your process start for you? So you
Okay.
said you graduated from UCC in which year?
So I graduated in 2018 and I started my applications in 2021. So I had a whole 3 years gap year to work and things like that, because initially it wasn't in my plan to study abroad and things like that. I just thought, oh, I'll just get a job in Ghana and maybe apply for a master's in Ghana. So I was actually looking at applying for a master's at Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Center. They have this master's program in conflict, peace, and resolution. So that was what I initially wanted to do. So I had spent some time to research and things like that. But I started my study abroad journey in 2021. So I remember it was somewhere in February. I reached out to Fred and I was like, hey, like somebody send me your contact and I want to start my process. And it's been a very life-changing experience for me from 2021 to now. So yeah, so.
All right. So when Irene reached out, of course, a lot of people reached out to me. So I wanted to know how serious she was. So a little bit of stress here and there. So you started in 2021, and
Yeah.
how long did it take you? Did you get to the US in 2021? Which year did you actually get to the US?
So when I started in 2021, I applied to some universities. I think I remember Fairfield University, and that university was a private university that I applied to, and Miami University, and things like that. And remember, I did not know much about the process. I didn't know what I needed to do. I was just doing my own thing and without any guidance and things like that. Even though I had some guidance from Fred and things like that, it was just like ignorantly sending out applications without reaching out, without establishing contacts and things like that. And I got a lot of no's. I got a lot of, I'm sorry, we can accept you and things like that. And I was so heartbroken. I decided not to even continue this process again because it was so traumatizing for me that they had said they could not admit me and stuff like that. But remember, I was doing things the wrong way. So of course, if you're amateur to this process, you're a novice to this process, and you don't know much about this process, you obviously make some mistakes. And so at that point, when they said no to me, that was in I think the first year in 2021. And remember, we do have two school year terms here. So we do have the spring, and then we do have the fall, and it goes on and on like that. So most of the applications that I was sending out to was for the spring semester. And then for the spring semester, usually there's not enough funding, and so it was typical that I would get a no, but I didn't know that that was how it worked, and I was so sad and things like that. And so when I tried again, I tried with the fall semester where there's like enough funding for international students, because remember, we are coming in and we need some time to go through the visa application process. We need time to go through getting the right documents and things like that. So if let me put this out there, if you're international and you want to come into the US, UK, wherever to study, I think you should aim for the fall, because that's when you have enough time. So let's say even if you get admission in January or February, you would have enough time to prepare for your visa in the interview and prepare your documents and things like that to come in. And so when I started, my second try, I tried, of course, again with God, and I tried for the fall semester where I was able to get some kind of funding from the universities that I was applying to. So that was what I did. So
Yeah, shout out to Jennifer. She's the one that actually
yeah,
made.
shout out to Jennifer. Jennifer, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for helping me get through to Fred. Yeah, yeah, you're part of my story. So yeah.
Great. So, moving on, the other universities did you apply to? Did
Hmm.
all of them give you admission? Did some of them reject you?
Yes. I out of the 8 universities that I applied to, I got admission into 2. So this is again telling you not to put your eggs in one basket and things like that. So I got into Purdue and I got into Southern Illinois University out of the 8 that I applied to. So imagine that I just applied to one, just thinking that I was gonna get admission into one, and I was so full of myself and things like that. There's so many disappointments, rejections, and things that happen. But that's again telling you to cast your net wide, not to be shallow minded. Just try to reach out to a lot of universities as much as possible. So that way, if you don't get anything, you know that there's one school that's going to come for you. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. We are about 30 minutes into the interview. So if you just join us, you're not late. Send in your questions. If you're watching us live on Facebook, X, YouTube, and also Instagram, as well as we are live on TikTok as well. Let us hear from you. Which country are you watching us from? And if you have your questions, post them in the comment section. I'll be reading them. And as time goes on, I'll give you the opportunity to come and interact with Irene, private one-on-one here in the studio. So moving on, we are going to talk about why you did not sit for the GRE. And a lot of people are saying that if you want a full scholarship, you want to write GRE. You said you did not also write a TOEFL or an English proficiency exams and all that. So we'll come to that and how come
Mhm,
you got the full scholarship. So
mhm.
did you get an application fee waiver to your current university, or how much did you pay for application fee, if you can recall?
So I remember paying, I think it was $60 for application fee for SIU. It was $50, and I paid to the other universities that I applied to. But for other schools, I remember that I was not able to pay because they had this free application week and things like that. So I took advantage of that, and I was able to like I took advantage of that, and I was able to apply to the free universities that I got the opportunity to do that. So again, if you are applying, there are some schools that you might have to put in money to pay for, and then there are some schools that you might get application fee waivers, you might get free application weeks and things like that that you can utilize to put in your application. But I feel like this is not something that's like like a fact, but I feel like you can correct me if I'm wrong because you do have the experience. But I feel like if you want to get good funding, you have to pay for application fee because most of the universities that usually offer free application have a number of people that are applying to, and so the competition is tough. But if you're able to pay for application fee and you put in your application, there's money that's going in there, and so you're also putting in your best, so you're not just putting just anything that you feel like you might be disqualified or you might not get selected for. So I think that it's very helpful to pay for application fee, but also if you do get the opportunity to use the free application waivers and things like that, you can also go ahead to do that. So yeah.
All right. So let's talk about your scholarship covering everything on your
Hmm.
IGP. So about 42,500 for a year. And
You
so
do remember.
yeah, I do remember. So the entire year was about $85,000, right?
Hmm.
So why didn't you write GRE? Why didn't you write TOEFL?
So, first of all, if we're going to talk about money and stuff like that, I must caveat that this is just money for scholarship. This money is not in my pocket. I don't have $85,000 out there and things like that. But in total, $85,000 is for my tuition, for my living expenses, my textbooks, and things like that. And so when you gain admission, you receive a form called the Form I-20, where they give you a breakdown of finances, like the money and things like that, that you will need to come into the US and things like that. And so for my program, which by the grace of God, it automatically came with full funding. So full funding in terms of they're taking care of my tuition, and they're gonna give me like a monthly stipend. But in return for this is not free. So let me talk about this. This is not free. For in return for this, I am teaching two sections of communications 101, which is a required course in the university, and I'm doing this in return for my tuition remission and my stipend. And so when we say scholarship out there, I think we must educate people on this, that people feel like when we're talking about scholarship, we're talking about money that's coming into your pocket and things like that. But here in the US, the way it works is that the university is saying that, hey, we're going to admit you, you're going to come in here and study, but we are going to take care of your tuition and you're going to do something in return for us. So it's not free, as in like the way people would think that if I have a scholarship of $85,000, that's going to go into my pocket. No, that's not what it is. So I must caveat that the funding is like a give and take something. So you're giving us your time, you're giving us your resources, you're giving us your efforts and everything, and we're also giving you, rewarding you by making you attend classes for free and things like that. And also there's also, for my time, the reason why I didn't have a deficit was because um, I lost my train of thought. The reason why I didn't have a deficit was because usually when you come into the US, there's this fee that you pay that's called the university fee. So university fee is thing that every student pays every semester, and it includes your health insurance if the school doesn't cover it and things like that. And so for us, they did not state on our Form I-20 that we were gonna pay university fees. And so now things have changed. People that came in after us have, because I think it was a misconception that because university fees is not stated on our I-20, people think we're coming to school for free. But at the end of the semester, I'm actually paying over $1,000 for students' fees, which is for using school facilities and resources and things like that, in addition to the stipend that I'm being given. And so let's say if they had put that amount of money on my I-20, I would have had a deficit, and I would have provided a bank statement that would prove that I can provide for myself for the money that I had left to pay. And so again, I'm caveating and I'm putting out there that the reason why I did not have a deficit, I didn't have to use a bank statement and things like that, was because my university fees was not stated on my I-Form I-20. But now, because people think that when we say that you're coming to school without a deficit, it means you're not paying anything. To do away with that misconception, now they're putting that amount on your I-20. So if it's on your I-20 and you're going for the visa interview, you need to show the visa officer that you can pay for that money. And so my case was different, of course, by the grace of God and God being on my side. I did not have to do that. That's why I didn't have to show a bank statement. I didn't have to go with any financial document that proved, because the university, they had assumed that the university was taking care of everything. And so again, in this time things are different. And then I wanted to talk about the IELTS and the GRE stuff. So if you're from Ghana, there are a list of countries that universities in the United States have put under a category. So what do I mean? I mean that there are a list of universities that um, the school has said that, hey, if you're coming from an English speaking country, you do not need to provide us any form or any score that shows that you're capable of speaking English, writing in English, and things like that. And so Ghana happens to be under one of the university, the countries for my university. And so typically we've been speaking English our whole lives. We attended university in Ghana our whole lives, and we're writing and speaking English. And so we are assumed to be proficient in English. And so we do not need to provide any kind of test score or examination or anything that shows that we are not proficient in English. So for me, that was my situation. And so I know other schools, and then also if you're from an English speaking country, of course, they assume that you can speak English, you can communicate in English, you can write English, and things like that. That's why I did not provide any of those documents. But then there are other countries like countries that speak English as their second language that need to prove that again, you can communicate in English. Again, you can speak and interact with people in English easily. That's why people write test scores and things like that. So that's what my experience was.
Great. So, if you have direct questions for Irene, you can post them in the comments. I'll be reading them, and she will do her best to help us respond to them. So, you're watching us live here on the Fred Effect YouTube channel. We are live on Facebook on the Fred Effect page, YouTube and Facebook page, and also live on X or Twitter. And we are also live on TikTok and Instagram as well. And we do this and every weekend to motivate and inspire you that if you're working on this journey, you're not the first person to do it. Neither would you be the last person. A lot of people have done it and they've been successful. If you've had some setbacks financially, or maybe your visa has been denied, that is not the end of life. You can keep pushing and you'll be fine. So, Irene, a lot of people are interested that if I want to study in the US just like Irene, how much approximately did Irene invest in this process? Do I even have the resources to start at all? And would you be able to give us approximation, talking about you paying application fee to the school, you paying your visa application fee, and all that? How much do you think you invested during your time?
Hmm. That's a tough question because I mean, at every point in the process, you have to put in money. So, what do I mean when I say this? If you're applying for schools and you're paying out of pocket for the application fee, you have to put in money. And so, $65. I don't know what the rate for the CD is right now. I assume it's $12, 12 CDs or something. But at that time, the dollar rates was about 9, 8, 10 CDs thereabout. So, paying for $60 of application fee was like 600 CDs at that time. And for my other schools and other schools and other schools that I had to pay for application fee, I mean, it was quite an amount of money. And so I want to put it out there that you don't need to have a fortune of money to be able to start your study abroad journey. Like,
I like that. I want you to repeat that, Irene. I like that. I want you to repeat that.
I'm saying you don't need to have like a fortune of money to start your study abroad journey. One of the things that I motivate people to do is like if there's the willingness to do it and you have God, I don't know what other people believe in, but as for me, it's just God and nothing else. If you have God, God will raise people to help you when it comes to things like that. And so, like, you don't need to have like, like I hear people talk about paying 80,000 Ghana cedis, 20,000 Ghana cedis, and things like that to people. And you're making a big mistake if you're giving your money out there to people to pay to help you get into school and things like that. And here's why. Because if you give money to people to help you throughout the process, you become a novice to the process. You don't know how you actually got to where you are. And let's say you're supposed to attend a visa interview and the visa officer asks you, can you walk me through your process? There you're a novice. You don't know how you got into the process and things like that. And one of the things that people don't know is these people study psychoanalytics and they're very, very smart. So if you're not able to talk to them and tell them how you got to where you're at, there's going to be a problem and you're going to be denied for your visa because you don't even know how you got to that point, right? So don't pay people 20,000, 30,000 Ghana cedis. If you have that money, sit down, invest that money, invest your time into researching and going out there. I mean, there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of money out there that people are willing to give out. But because people don't know how to ask, people don't know how to communicate, they don't get that opportunities. And so don't carry all your life savings and give it to somebody and be like, please, can you help me get into school? Can you help me go abroad and things like that? You're doing yourself a great disservice if you do that. If you have that money, sit down, research, just ask questions and know who you're asking. Ask the right people the right questions. That way you're getting some kind of feedback. You're being coached into the whole process, which was what fortunately for me you did for me, because it was more or less like, at this point, what do I do? Where do I go? How Who do I speak to, and things like that. So it was more like a coaching process into realizing my dream. So you don't need to pay people huge amounts of money, and somebody's going to say, oh, let me speak to you. 20,000 Ghana cedis, brana, me found school and things like that. You like, you can just Google that information, email somebody, and you can get that money for free. So don't pay people. I know Freddie Fest is not charging for his services, which now I think that he should be charging, because this is like a business that people are actually making out there. And so if I'm providing you some kind of guidance and coaching, I think you should be able to exchange some money for the services that people are giving to you out there for free. So don't give money to people who will say, I'm going to help you. At the end of the day, if it's the United States that you're coming to, you're going to be asked at the visa consulate office, what was your process like? So if you cannot explain, you don't know what it is. When somebody says pay your visa application fee, you don't know how much that is and things like that, you're doing yourself a great disservice. So don't pay people money to find schools for you and things like that. For the US, you're going to go for an interview and you have to defend yourself and whatever documents you have in front of you. So if you pay people money, you're a novice, you don't know anything, you're going to get denied. And that's where you're going to have a problem. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm happy to have an opportunity to access a lot of people in through the mentorship program, through the
Mm-hmm.
process, and I'm happy to be part of Irene's success journey.
Yeah.
And as I continue to do this, I have had opportunity to do it for like more than half a decade. And so at the moment, we do have a mock interview platform, which we'll talk about that. That if you are preparing for your visa interview, just send me an Instagram message, and then you'll be added as well. If you want to have a private one-on-one conversation, if you need mentorship through the program, I've had opportunity to go through, assist a lot of people, including Irene, to go through similar process to be successful. And so we'll be happy to assist you. Let's answer a few questions in the comments. So
Okay.
Annabella Kobina, it's saying good work. Thank you for watching, Annabella. And then Wisdom J is saying good evening, Sister Irene. It looks like Wisdom knows you personally, right?
I think I have a lot of friends on here who are actually watching. So it's like everybody. So hello to everybody.
Right. So Glory is asking, please, did you evaluate your credentials?
So like again, like I said, every university has their own requirements and things like that. That's why you need to email them first and let them know, ask them what the requirements for getting into the program is. So for my university, I was fortunate not to be asked to evaluate my transcripts and things like that, which I know is very expensive if you have to do that. So my university didn't require me to evaluate my transcripts and evaluate my results and things like that, but it differs. So um, we're not going to put it out there that this is like a one size fits all formula for everybody. Check with your university's requirements and know what you are asked to do before you do something. So this is not like a one size fit all thing that we're saying that you need to evaluate your transcripts and things like that. So yeah, check with the university and be sure.
So Jim Kofi Michael is asking, what is her school? I think she already mentioned that.
Yeah.
I really want to repeat that.
Yeah, so my university is Southern Illinois University in Carbondale in Southern Illinois.
All right. So she also explained that there are a lot of campuses. We have the Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. There's also the Edwardsville. Somebody was asking of your GPA. This is I don't know if you're comfortable telling that,
Oh
but
yeah, I can talk about my GPA. Yeah.
I'm trying to answer that specific question. She said, what was her CGPA? Okay, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, so my CGPA for hospitality was I think I graduated with a second class upper, so I had a 3.325, so automatically I had a 3.3 GPA. Yeah.
Okay, so that necessarily mean that you do not necessarily have to get a first class to get a
Mhm.
full.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So again, I think most mistakes that people do is that they think that if you had a lower or whatever, you cannot apply. I think that's how we're trained in Ghana, and that's how we're taught that if you do anything below a lower, you're not gonna get into any master's program and things like that. But that's a fact. That's not true. That's a lie. It
Okay.
all goes down to how you explain your goals and what your aspirations are and things like that to the admissions people. So don't think that with a 3.2 or 3.0 or 2.0 you cannot get into a master's program. That's not true.
All right. So we'll talk about your visa interview. A lot of people want to hear about that.
Yeah,
But let's talk about your scholarship. Did it
yeah.
automatically come with your admission, or you had to submit a separate application, have an interview to be considered for the scholarship?
So again, circling back to what I talked about earlier, like I said, my university offers automatic funding that comes with admission. So automatically, I got a scholarship to study here. I did not need to. Any student that is admitted into the communications program here at SIU automatically gets funding. So I did not need to apply for a job, or I did not need to put in an application for a job or whatever before I got considered for the scholarship. So automatically, SIU provides students who are admitted into the program funding for 2 years. That's how come I got that.
Okay. So a lot of people have issues with recommendation letters.
Oh my
Um,
God.
upload, did you upload your recommendation letter? Did you have to put in the details of your professor so that they send a notification to them? 8 different schools. How were you able to manage to get, like, assuming a school requires three recommendation letters? That's a lot. How did you do it? Give us the coaching.
Okay, so if one of the things that prevents people from moving forward in the admission process is recommendation letters, because remember, here online it depends, again, it depends on what the school requires. So if the school is requiring that you upload a letter, you can go ahead and upload a letter for recommendations. But if the university doesn't require that, it means that you need to provide um, um, the university email of the person who is providing you with the recommendation letter. So I was fortunate to have professors from my university, University of Cape Coast, who were willing to submit letters on my behalf. So anytime that had sent the link to them, they had automatically submitted a letter on my behalf. And so, again, if you're in university right now and you're in school, please try as much as possible. I know that's like a Ghanaian thing where we do not have good relationships with our professors and things like that. Don't burn bridges with your university professors and things like that, because you might not know where you might need their help. And if they do not respond to these letters, you don't automatically get in, right? So try as much as possible to be friendly, network, build a relationship. And one of the things that I must say is that it's very annoying if you have a student who didn't have any relationship with you, didn't have anything to do with you, and then when it's time for you to submit letters on their behalf, they're like, hey, can you submit a letter for me? So have relationship with your professors in your universities, even if you're not calling them every time and texting them. Sometimes when it's Christmas, when it's seasonal messages, send them messages, send them, like, you know how to communicate and maintain the relationship that you have with them. That way, when you need favors from them, they can help you submit letters on your behalf. So have good relationship with your professors from your bachelor's or whatever that you yeah.
Awesome. We are still live here on the Fred Effect YouTube channel. Tell somebody to tell somebody that if you're not watching us right now, you're missing a lot. Irene is dropping a lot of gist, and this is from an experiential perspective. She went
Mhm,
through the process and then
mhm,
she's been able to achieve it. So can
mhm.
you do it? So I know you have your pens and notebooks ready, putting down the notes and all that. So let's talk about your scholarship. So you said
Mhm.
um you serve as a teaching assistant and you have a
That's
whole
it.
class that you teach,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So how is the the scholarship is such, you said the scholarship is such that your tuition is being paid for, and
That's
then
good.
what happens? How are you surviving? How do you, take care of your bills in terms of, is accommodation included in your scholarship in the first place?
No.
Was your plane ticket included?
So you just made me laugh out loud. No.
Okay, so
That's not.
we need to clarify this because
Yes, yes. I
most
think
people.
I think that it's very important for us to like demystify certain rumors that are out there about studying abroad and things like that. So I like I said, I on a funding
So I need to quickly charge my laptop. Yeah, so go ahead and explain. I can still
okay,
hear you.
okay, yeah, I can do that. So, like I had already mentioned, I am on a scholarship where I'm being given a stipend at the end of the month, every month, in return for my services of teaching. So, whilst they're paying for my fees, at the end of the month, they're giving me some amount of money to just like to take care of myself. But literally, that money does not do a lot. So if you know how expensive accommodation is in the United States, you know that unlike Ghana, we're not paying rent for 2 years or things like that. Here, we pay rent based on the month, like every month. And so it depends on the state in which you're living in, it depends on the living conditions, it depends on the cost of living that is in your city. And so I'm paying rent from my stipend, paying my bills from my stipend, doing other things for my stipend, which is not enough. And so, do not think that if you're coming into the United States to study and there's some scholarship and some stipend, that's going to help you take care of everything. It's just going to do something, but it's not going to do everything. So, you should have some kind of preparations and also just make sure that you have some kind of income or money that is coming in and helping you do that. And so, automatically, as an international student, you are required to work 20 hours on campus, which is what you are required, the legal thing that you should do. So, that's what I'm doing. And it hasn't been easy. It doesn't take care of everything, but God is always wonderful to supply my needs at every point. And so, I must say that the stipend is not enough to take care of everything, but it does something and it's better than, let's say, being in Ghana. So, yeah.
Okay, so fees being paid, and then you are being paid in Ghana, or but in Africa, most workers are being paid monthly. How is it here in your school?
Yeah, so again, my university pays on a monthly basis, but we have other universities that pay bi-weekly. So what do I mean by bi-weekly? It means that students are getting money or they're getting paid every 2 weeks. And so sometimes people receive some kind of compensation, monetary compensation every 2 weeks, but others also receive that kind of compensation monthly. So I'm on a monthly stipend basis where at the end of the month I get paid for what I'm doing in school right now. So literally that's what it means.
So Owusu Andrews on Facebook is saying, "Oh wow, Irene, a childhood friend. Congrats, girl."
I
Uh,
must be very popular.
okay. Somebody's saying that Jabat Isaiah said, "Fred, I'm watching from Accra, Kerry in Ghana. Thank you for tuning in, bro." So, for real, I think Irene answered your question that can you work when you are studying? So, Irene, so you mean that the teaching assistantship is a job, and then you're also schooling as a master's, as a master in a master's program. So, when do
That's
you
correct.
study and when do you work? How is it like?
So legally we are required to work 20 hours a week, and the university does like a good job in making sure that we're working 20 hours a week. And so we're logging our time, we're making sure that we have our time plan and things like that. So for my department, at the end of every month, we turn in our timesheets, which shows the number of hours that we worked, and we have to make sure that we don't have to work more than 20 hours, which is what the law requires us to do. And so there's a timesheet that helps us track time of the number of hours we're putting into work and things like that. And so the other times that you're not working, you're either doing your personal research, you're writing your papers, you're grading students' assignments and you're doing other things apart from teaching. And so when you're not teaching, you are learning for your own self and for your own program. Remember, that's the most important reason. That's why you're here in the first place. And so when you're not teaching and not doing any teaching job or any obligations required to teaching, you are learning for yourself. Remember, you have to learn and graduate and things like that. So that's the most important thing. So yeah.
Great. So Mercy Aqua is asking, Fred, thanks for the good work. Irene, how much is the rent at Carbondale per month?
Okay, so um accommodation in Carbondale as compared to other cities. So remember, Carbondale is like I'm not gonna say it's very rural, but it's like not in the city. So it's like um, things are cost of living is a little bit okay as compared to other states and other cities and things like that. And so automatically for maybe a 3 bedroom or a 4 bedroom in Carbondale, you will pay between maybe $400 to about maybe 600, depending on if you have other bills included. So what I mean is, if so that amount of money is just for the room. So you can pay for parking, you can pay for internet, you can pay for water, you can pay for electric, you can pay for other things that you're using apart from the normal room rate. And so for a 3 to 4 bedroom apartment, you should be paying about 400 to 600. If you have a 2 bedroom, you should be paying about maybe 600 to 1,000, and it goes on and on and on. But relatively speaking, as comparing Carbondale to other cities and other towns and things like that, accommodation is a little bit cheaper here. And so the university takes into consideration the cost of living in your city and your town to be able to help you with the stipend. And so if you have cities where things are a little bit expensive, their stipends are a little bit higher and things like that. So that way you can also offset some bills and things like that, because they know that apart from teaching and learning, you're not getting any other type of income from anywhere else. So yeah.
Great. So Charlotte Bello is asking, well done, Irene. Does your school give automatic scholarships to all departments, or it is just for the Department of Communication alone?
So like I said, this is just for the department. Other department has their requirements and things like that. So for communications department, I don't know if things have changed by now, but I'm very certain that our admission comes automatically with funding for students that are in the communication department. So other departments might have like different things, because I know friends who are in maybe accounting and things like that that would have to struggle to find funding and things like that. But God being so good, communications, we don't have to struggle for funding. Automatically, you're being offered some kind of scholarship. So yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. That are there other Africans? A lot of Africans are watching us now. Are there other international students in other departments in your school as well?
Yeah, so I must say that from 2022 to 2024, the African student population here at SIU has tremendously grown. So, as compared to maybe 2018, 2019, 2020, where I would literally say like SIU was not even known like in the past. But as we're coming in and there are Africans coming in, we're also spreading the word out there, and we're also trying to help other people get in with our time and coaching and other things. And so, as compared to a few years back, we have had like an increase in the African students population here at SIU, and I believe it's still growing because we have platforms like this, and we're also talking about SIU as much as possible to people out there and things like that. So we're kind of indirectly doing some ambassadorial work for SIU, and we're also trying to make sure that we spread the good word out there and we make sure that people know SIU as much as possible from our experiences. So literally
Yeah.
that's what we're doing.
Great. So it's been a very educational. The time is just flying by.
I
Irene, can
know.
you?
I
Oh,
know.
you're exhausted already
I know. I
from.
wish we could talk forever. I mean, I can stay a little bit if you want.
Okay, great. So somebody saying Emmanuel Greatness saying, Irene, say hi to Selo for me. I pray I join you guys soon.
I
Who's Selo
will.
actually?
I don't know. I will. I'm sure maybe somebody from here.
All right, great. So Emmanuel, Irene hears you. So Irene, let's come to the visa interview. And before
Mhm.
that, I want to ask you, when you started the process, did you know that it was going to be possible for you to get a fully funded scholarship, or you were just, hoping and praying?
See, let me be very honest with you. If you take God out of my story, there's literally nothing here for me. So yeah, I wasn't expecting to get this far. Of course, it has just been God, and it has just been the grace of God. And so I put out there on my Facebook that I'm sharing my story of how God can be trusted to keep his word. And so sometimes it's just about having the word from God and also putting in the work and just trusting that God is going to be with you at every point of the way. So for study abroad, if you have anything that you believe in, if whatever your religion or your faith tells you to believe in, please put in a lot of effort to believe in that. And God is, if it's God that you're believing in, believe in God and everything. But as for me, my story has always been God and God and God and God and nothing else. Because I literally didn't have any plans of traveling. I didn't even have any plans of studying abroad and things like that. But I was just trusting God throughout the process. And so sometimes the tunnel might not be so clear. You might not have enough light at the end of the tunnel to know what's going to happen. But if you have some kind of faith in God and whatever, like I said, you believe or you trust in, you just anticipating that things are going to get better for you. So for me, it has just been God and God and God alone. I didn't have anything. And again, going back to the visa process, I remember. So, like I said earlier, if you are a lazy person, study abroad is not for you. If you don't like to put your behind down and put in the work, study abroad is not for you. Because when I realized that I was going to go to school, I started my mock interviews a year before it was even my time to go for the interview. I didn't have a date, I didn't have anything, but I was joining mock interviews to again listen to the possible questions that I would be asked at the consulate office. Remember, for the United States, it's not like the UK where you just submit your documents and just leave it and then they call you to come for your visa or whatever. Here, you have to speak here, you have to defend yourself, and you have to talk. And so with the help of Fred Effects, of course, we're always having mock interviews to prepare us for possible questions and things like that that we're going to be asked. And so I must say that if Fred had not been very firm on me and you have to join and you have to do that, I mean, I would have relaxed and it wouldn't have been a good story for me today. And so if you know that you're putting in effort and things like that, put in some time to prepare for your mock interviews, like questions, possible questions that you're going to be asked and that at the consulate office. Remember, sometimes here they pay attention to the most is how you tell your story. So your interview story is your story. It might not be the same as somebody else's, but your story is your story. And honestly, they're tired of hearing I'm going to the US because my uncle is sponsoring me and things like that. They're tired because people every year after year go to the embassy with this kind of story, and the consulate is tired of hearing these kind of stories. And so, your interview story should be unique. Remember why you are trying to apply to study abroad in the first place. What are your experiences, and how do you feel like this experience is going to shape you into being a better person? So think about that as you prepare for your mock interviews and prepare your documents and things like that. And of course, with God, everything is going to be okay. So yeah.
All right. So a lot of insights from Irene today. Remember that this session would still be live on the Fred Effect YouTube platform, on Facebook. Will be live on X. You can go back and replay it. Just ask a friend to check out the Fred Effect YouTube page, and then they can also listen and learn from a lot today. So quick one, Irene. Let's talk about, if you do remember, how many minutes? So you've talked about your preparation, where of course the Fred Effect mock interview platform has existed for more than half a decade, and we have a lot of people, Irene herself, coming on board to help and all that. So we have the opportunity to assist a lot of people go through the visa interview successfully. If you have a date scheduled, it gone are the days where you want to hide when you want to travel abroad. Get help. People have done it. people know that I have experience to share with you. So you can send me an Instagram message. If you go to the Fred Effect Instagram, it's verified, and then you send me a private message. You should have an interview date scheduled, and I
Mhm.
definitely I'll send you the link to join, and we'll meet every day to be able to guide you through the process. We then take our time to go through your DS 160 and all that. So Irene, why do you think that people get denied at the embassy, and what worked the magic for you? Because we've heard stories of a lot of people getting a full scholarship, yet they go there and get denied. So apart from the preparation stage, what did the magic for you? What did you do different?
Again, first of all, God. Aside God, you have to prepare for your interview. Just like I was saying, um your interview story is your story, so you are carving your story to reflect who you are and what your plans are. So if you know that you're gonna come here and study and things like that, you're preparing yourself to be able to defend why you're here. Because when you go, the consulate is going to ask you, why should I give you this visa? And so if you're not able to explain to the person in a way that would make sense, that if this opportunity is not going to be life changing for me and I'm coming back. So one of the things that they look out for is impact. So at the end of the day, remember, you are not a migrant, you're a non-immigrant, and so you have intentions of returning back to your country after you're done with your studies. And so you must remember that you are emphasizing more on the fact that you're going to come back to Ghana and use the knowledge and experience that you have had in a positive way. And so you're not just saying that, oh, give me this visa because I want to travel abroad and blah, 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 whatever. But you are showing them verbally. So communication, again, you're articulating, you're talking, you're expressing yourself very clearly, and you're making them know that at the end of the day, if you were given this opportunity to travel, you're going to come back and make use of the experience that you have had here. So first off is the impact that you're going to make after. So carving your story on that kind of experience, and then talking, so communicating and things like that. And as a communications person, I want to use this platform to talk about non-verbal communication. So how, even as you're in the line waiting to be interviewed and things like that, how are you conducting yourself? Remember, there are cameras and things like that that are checking people's behavior and things like that. If you're lying, there's a way that your body gives you away. If you're not confident in your story, there's a way that your body gives you away. So, in as much as you're preparing to talk, just consider your non-verbal gestures and things like that. If you're appearing to be somebody that's confident and you're talking and you're raising your voice, you're establishing eye contact, you're speaking audibly in a way that they can hear you, they wouldn't assume that you're lying. So that's also a cultural thing. So we have cultural barriers that prevent us from getting approved during visa interviews, because remember, here in Ghana we know that we are used to saying please, yes, and things like that. Here it's culturally wrong to answer a question with yes please or no please and things like that. If it's a yes, it's a yes. If it's a no, it's a no. So learning to be culturally competent. So it's not just about packing your bags and traveling and leaving Ghana and coming out. Know something about the country that you're going to in terms of cultural competence. And so what is acceptable in the US in terms of culture? How do you talk? How do you articulate yourself? How do you embody the things that you're showing or you're saying to the visa consulate? So remember, learn more about the things that are acceptable in the US. So you're not using yes please, no please, and things like that. It's wrong to culturally do that here. So remember, in as much as you want to pack your bags and go, have some kind of cultural competence and cultural knowledge about the countries that you're going to live into and learn from. That way, when you come in, you're not really surprised by how things are working. Remember, sometimes it's just these little things that get people denied. And so cultural competence. So how are things done in the US? How do people talk and things like that? That way you don't say something that's culturally wrong. You know, like how sometimes we meet each other and you meet an elderly person and you're like, hey, today you're looking nice, you're looking fine. Don't take that to the visa interview. They will deny. They will deny. It's culturally wrong. So in as much as you want to learn and you want to come into that, you build cultural competence. Just take a time. some time and Google what are the things that are culturally acceptable in the US. So how do people talk? How do people exchange information? And again, how do you embody the things that you're saying in terms of communication and things like that? So I believe don't just come in as a novice. Don't just be excited because you've got admission. You can your study abroad dream can actually end at the visa officer's booth. So build that kind of confidence, research, and tell your story in a way that emulates that you're going to come back and have some impact on your country. So
Right. If you remember, which has been quite some time, how many questions were you asked? Did you remember, the response you gave?
yeah. So I remember very well that day was very it was very I'm not gonna say it was very nerve wracking for me because even though I had prepared and I had prayed and everything, I didn't know what was waiting for me at the consulate's office. So I was just like prepared and all of that stuff. But again, I just had prepared a list of questions that I had answers to and things like that. And so when I got there, surprisingly for me, they asked the first question that they had asked me was if I had paid my civis fee. So if you don't know what civis fee is just like a fee for international students to come into the US to study. And so you know that story, right? I was asked if I had paid my civis fee.
The problem was from me, so I
Yes,
apologize.
please. If I hadn't made it, please blame Fred because he didn't pay my service fee on time. So again, I was asked if I'd paid my service fee, and I said yes. And then they asked me, and I handed my I-20 to them, and they realized that the university was paying for my tuition, paying for my funding, and everything. And so they asked, why should I give you this visa? And so that was when all the things that I had prepared for my answer, because I remember I'd prepared ahead, and so I had some of these questions. But sometimes you can prepare immediately you get to the consulate's booth, everything vanishes, and so I just again had to breathe. I just had to think about having just like a conversation and telling them that so this visa is important for me because this is my goal, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to come back to do, and things like that. And so for me, it was just I think two or three questions. And then she was like, I'm approving your visa. And my whole world, I was so excited.
So let's we should let people understand that notwithstanding the effort and the time resources you put into the entire application process and all that, everything now depends on the visa approval.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you need to put equal attention and
Mhm.
a lot of preparation into going in for the interview.
Mhm.
One specific question that a lot of people who switch from their initial background will want to know that you said you had a bachelor's degree in hospitality
Hospitality.
management.
Yeah.
Were you asked why you are switching to communication?
Yeah. So again, these are some of the things that you should. This is why you should attend Freddie Flex mock interviews because we prepare you to have answers to questions like this. And so, hospitality and communication are two different fields of studies. So, how do you connect those experiences to make sure that your story makes sense? And so, obviously hospitality involves communicating with people across different backgrounds, and it means like making sure customers are satisfied and things like that. And so I want to have a master's in communication so I can leverage on this experience that I've had during my undergrad and my work experience to be able to do this. And so the trick is to be able to link whatever, even if it doesn't make sense, even if you did accounting and you're not going to do something like STEM or something, you should be able to tell. Again, that's what I'm emphasizing, stressing on telling your story in such a way that you're linking whatever that you're doing. It can be a job that you did, it can be a job experience, it can be maybe a volunteer experience that you had, it can be a change in perspective, it could be something different that you want to do that would propel you. So at the end of the story, it could be two different fields of studies, but you have to craft your story in such a way that everything makes sense. There's coherence and it makes sense, and you're able to establish credibility, and your story, your narrative is making sense. So it could be two different fields of studies, but at the end of the day, there should be some coherence, and it should lead to why you should be granted this visa. And so don't worry if you did something different and you're going to do something different. How do you tell your story? So that's where volunteer experiences are important. That's where things that you've done in the past, your work experience, it could be maybe a role, or it could be maybe like an interview session, like just like the way we're talking right now. It could be that you heard somebody saying something that propelled you or shifted your perspective and your mind about doing this. And so how, again, how you tell your story matters. So yeah.
So Irene, I'm super happy and proud of you, and thank you for spending time to share your journey and experience to motivate our brothers and sisters back
You're
home.
welcome.
We also want to go through the same process. Irene has poured a lot of ideas and knowledge here. Remember, you can access this live session at any point in time on the
Mhm.
Fred Effect YouTube channel and also Facebook page as well. So Irene, we'll pick a couple of questions from
Okay.
the comment, but tell us, going through this whole process, which has been a bit stressful for you,
Mhm.
um, if you had opportunity to do it all over again, what were some of the things, the mistakes, some misconceptions that you wouldn't repeat?
So, like I had said, going in without enough research, just applying to schools without emailing the departments to find out if there's funding available for me and things like that. And so, in as much as you want to be in the process, you want to work smart. You want to save time doing that. And so, if I'd known that I should have emailed people first, otherwise I wouldn't have gotten that rejection that I did. And so, moving into this, if I'm to coach somebody or if I'm to advise somebody, let's not just start applications, like the way in Ghana you can just buy UCC forms and go to school, they go on and things like that. For just being here, what I know is relationship matters, and so the kind of relationship that you have with people matters, and so build that relationship, even if it's not in person. Just randomly email and introduce yourself. Go straight to the points. Be direct. Don't beat about the bush. Don't start conversations that are not necessary. Again, know how to be straightforward and ask for what you want. The worst can be a no. And then what is the no going to do to you? You're going to try again. And so try as much as possible to go straight to the point. Research. That's why I'm saying don't pay anybody money to help you with this process. Start your own journey. So when you're telling your story, it is your story to tell. Nobody has any influence or anything. I mean, people can help you along the way, but you experience it. And so it's coming from a place of my personal experience. And so sharing your story from your personal experience. So research. I know internet and data is very expensive in Ghana, but take some time to Google research. I know now there's a lot of AIs and things like that can help you. Not to say that you should write with AI and not acknowledge that you did, but for academic integrity and things like that, research, reach out to people, talk to people. Just like you said, now people are not hiding their study abroad journey. Like everybody, everybody wants to leave. And so, like, come out clean with your intentions and don't just leave. Again, if you're seeking for help from people, don't just leave it to them to be the ones who's always on your neck and things like that. Put in the work. If you're asking for questions, if you're being asked to do something, you remember in my process, like anytime you ask me to do something, be proactive. Like anytime you asked me to do something, I was always on task, and you're like, oh, I can see you're serious and you have the zeal to do it. And so be proactive, don't be lazy, reach out to people, communicate, take some time to Google and learn more. Not for me, my personal interest is not in just the normal things that should have built cultural competence, like so that when you're here and things are happening, you're not, culture shock. That's a lot of things. I remember we had a question about culture shock. I don't know if we had
Yeah.
talked about it, but culture shock has all your whole existence and your whole being. It affects your mental health, your physical health, there's stress and things like that. And so build cultural competence. That way you're not coming in as a novice. Even if you are coming in as a novice and you haven't experienced these things, you know that you have heard of it. You have read about it. You have some kind of knowledge to use when you are faced in that situation. And so build cultural competence. Don't just pack your bags and come into America, because there's a lot of things that are not acceptable here as we do back home. And so that way you're not acting as a fish out of water. You're able to mingle and learn and grow with people. That's the essence of traveling abroad and things like that. So yeah.
Great, great. It's been a good conversation. So let's talk about some of your best experiences as an international student. Uh,
Yeah.
what has been some of your best experiences?
So my best experiences have been meeting new people, building the networks that I have now, traveling around the United States. And, the US is very diverse. And so traveling and seeing for myself things that I used to see on social media, things that I used to see on TV, and things like that. And so my best experience has been how my whole life has changed my perspective, my mindset. It has given me a bigger outlook on life, and I'm more open to things as they happen. And so if you're out of your cultural setting, you realize that you're building the openness to learn new things as you grow. And so this has been a very rewarding life experience for me. So yeah.
Great. So you can join us live in the studio to interact with Irene one-on-one. So I shared the link. It's a StreamYard link on my YouTube, Facebook, and also on Twitter. So you can click on that link and you can join us live. Make sure that you have your video on so we can bring you into the studio and then you can interact or ask Irene your questions. Let's talk about, what has been the most challenging for you to adapt? What do you miss home though? What do you miss back home in Ghana?
I miss my family. I miss my friends. I miss food. I like food a lot. So my family that is watching me on here on my Facebook know that I like food. Banku and they know I miss food. I miss like, again, talking about the differences in culture and things like that. Ghana is a very collectivist country where we are more of ourselves. We care about each other and things like that. Here, it's different. Here, you're always by yourself. I mean, there are things that happen in real life that I wish that if my parents were here or if my friends were here, I would have just told them. But now I have to call, and Ghana, there's no data. Like internet is not working and things like that. There are things. So the sense of belongingness that we had in Ghana, in that community and that family system that we had in Ghana, is something that I do miss a lot. I know it's very different here, but you have to adjust and you have to learn and you have to make sure that you're doing things. If you go to Rome, obviously you do what Romans do. So that family, food, and everything, it's and again, I want to talk about the fact that people adjust to things differently. And so that mindset that people have, that when you travel outside, you're supposed to be okay and things like that. Everybody has a very different journey in adapting to new things. And so some people may take a lot of time, some people may do that easily and things like that. And so just know yourself and don't be too hard on yourself, and make sure that you're taking care of yourself mentally, because some things can just make you go crazy in this country. So yeah.
Great. So what was more difficult for you to adapt, the weather or the food?
The weather. The weather is another thing. And again, it depends on where you are. So some people, if you live in very warm parts of the United States, you realize you have a weather that's similar to Ghana. But here in Illinois, here Chicago and all those places, is very cold. And so when the winter is here, it's very cold. Even going out, going to classes and things like that is very difficult. So again, the weather was very hard for me to adjust to. But then as things went on, I became adjusted to the weather and things like that.
Abby is saying that Irene is killing us with her accent. All right.
I don't have accent. Okay.
People are enjoying your accent here. All right. Some people are joining us live in the studio. So
Okay.
remember that we are sharing our experience and ideas. It doesn't necessarily mean that we can respond to all your questions, but of course, let's bring some people on. Elizabeth Yankee. Elizabeth, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. You?
I'm okay. I'm here with Irene. Which country are you talking to us from?
I'm from Ghana.
Okay. You have a question for Irene?
Yeah, my question is, how many interviews do you have to take before entering the country?
Are you talking about the visa interview?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just one visa interview that you have to go through with the US consulate um, at the American embassy. So it's just one interview. But then, if you're talking about other interviews, maybe you have had some kind of funding that you need to be interviewed for, or some programs even require that you're interviewed for before you get into the program. And so it might depend on the program. But if you're talking about general interview, that's going to be with the consulate at the American Embassy in Accra.
Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
You're welcome.
You have another question?
No, I'm still on the process.
Where are you?
The Fred.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I've gotten all my particulars left with my transcript. That's why I've delayed not to apply for the school. So I think that they've not closed admission yet, right?
Yeah, sure. So at any point in time that you're
Yeah.
ready, there's always a school to apply
Okay.
to. Let's bring on Benjamin too, and then now talk to Nathaniel. Nathaniel, Irene is listening to you.
Okay. Good evening and good morning to you at your side. So my
Hi.
question is, Fred, I've sent you message to kindly add me to the mock session on Instagram. So kindly do that for me. So
Yeah.
Irene, okay. So Irene, my question is,
Mhm.
what are the stumbling blocks that you encounter with your professors sending um, recommendation letter? Because, example, I have applied for a lot of schools,
Yeah.
some that has gotten to a place that my professors and then the medical staff I've worked with, especially the consultants, are
Mhm.
reluctant to send more um, recommendation letter because they feel they've sent enough.
Yeah.
At what peak were you having such situations, and how did you handle it?
Yeah. I think that it's typical to have that kind of experience, especially if you have a number of schools that are you're applying to. Here's the trick. What I'm going to ask you to do is that create a list of the schools that you're applying to, add the dates and timelines, and send these out to the professors that you're working or the people that you want them to give you the recommendation letters. That way, they are in the known of the number of schools that you're applying to in the first place, and also they are in the known of the dates and timelines. And so if they're a little bit reluctant, you can just send daily reminders and things like that. But don't just tell them that, okay, probably I want you to give me recommendations, and you have like a number of letters coming in and they don't know anything about. So create a list, just write maybe like a memo or an email or something, a letter, and let them know, hey, I'm applying to school A, B, C, D. These are the timelines, and I would want you to. So that way, if the person is seated by their computer or whatever it is, they know that I'm taking maybe 30 minutes of my time to put in 5 letters for this person. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay.
So
And
create a list with timelines, and then um as much as possible, softly remind them gently. You know, people are very sometimes people do things when they want to do things, and so you want to gently remind them and let them know how important this is for you. And so they're not just sitting there and then every time it's just one letter, one letter, one letter. Give them the list of the school's timelines and let them know when. So when I'm seated today, I know I'm going to be answering or sending out 10 letters for this person. Do you understand?
All right. So yeah, let's thank you, Irene, for responding to that. Let's talk to another person. So Poma, we are not seeing you. Let's let if you could go ahead with your question, Poma.
Okay, good evening.
Hi.
Um, yeah, please, I want to ask this question. I have diploma in basic education. That is, it was 3 years, so I completed that, and I had to do a top up for 1 year to get a degree.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have a diploma certificate and I have a degree certificate as well. So I don't know. I want to ask if I'm applying to the schools, do I have to kind of use the diploma certificate to apply? You see, when you are applying, they would ask you to give all the transcripts of the post-secondary educations that you've attended or something like that. So I want to find out that can I use the diploma and the 3-year top-up degree, or I have to use only the 3-year top-up, the
All right,
three
that was
semester top-up?
I respond to this one. So because you have a 3-year diploma and a 2-year top up, as a Ghanaian, if you tell me that, I know that it's automatically a bachelor's degree equivalent. But what happens is that at the moment you have 5 years of transcripts, that is 10 semesters. Usually a bachelor's degree is supposed to be 8 semesters or 4 years. Now you have two separate transcripts, two separate certificate, and two separate CGPAs. So this is a bit alien to the foreign educational system. So to be able to make your qualification comprehensible, you need to go through what we call a transcript evaluation. Now, what the transcript evaluation will do is that it's going to merge your two qualifications, which is your diploma and your top-up, giving you a single transcript one, giving you a single CGPA, which will be understandable to the foreign educational system or the professors, so that they can understand your qualification, be able to compare you with other people who have a 4-year straight bachelor's degree, and give you that admission. Remember that even without the evaluation, you can apply. But the point is that if they do not understand your qualification, they may not be able to know what your top up your diploma is. So, for example, in Ghana, what we call level 100, they call it freshman. What we call level 200, they call it sophomore. 300 and all that. So if in Ghana, if you tell somebody I'm in the sophomore year, they don't understand that. In the same way, if you say I'm in level 200 here, they don't also understand that. So you have to get your qualification, make it comprehensible, understandable to them. And that's why you go through the evaluation. Remember that without it, you can use it to apply, but it's based on whether they are going to understand or not. I think Josie is having a challenge trying to connect with us, so let's add GP to it. So, Poma, that is that. But I highly recommend that you can still be trying out some schools that are waiving application fee, like Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. I posted the application fee waiver. You can be uploading the two of them. Sometimes you can also combine the two transcripts, write an explanatory note to explain that this number of credit hours is from the diploma, this number of credit hours is from the top up. And so if they combine, you have a bachelor's degree equivalent. If the admissions committee is able to understand that, then they can give you the admission easily, Poma. Thank you for joining. Let's talk to GP. GP, how are you doing? GP, you're muted, so you have to unmute yourself. GP, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very fine, thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
Irene,
Irene
once
is
again for the time
You're
with us.
welcome.
Can you hear me, Irene?
Yes, I can hear you.
I must say, I really like your accent, and you're actually very beautiful.
Thank you so much.
That's by the way, actually. I'm very, very interested in your journey. But your journey is quite captivating. But my question is, as regards the SOP, statement of purpose, how did
Mhm.
you go about writing it? I think that's where I'm having a little challenge
How did I
to
do
draft
what?
the statement of purpose. How did you go about drafting it? Like, write your statement of purpose, and what are the necessary things that should be in the statement of purpose that will be catchy or that will
Okay.
captivate their attention? Because yes, and that's one.
Okay, so I was fortunate to have somebody who had gone through this process to send me, not to be so selfish, to send me a draft of his statement of purpose. So Fred again had showed me what his own looked like when he was applying, and so I kind of modeled, not really like copy and paste or whatever, but I modeled what he had, and I was able to build on that. Again, I'm going to talk about the fact that your statements of purpose is just like literally who you are on paper. So everything that makes you, whatever motivates you, is what you should put into the statement of purpose. So that way, when you're being when the admission committee is reading your letter and things like that, they know who you are based off of what you've put in there. And so you want to focus on talking about yourself. So what inspires you, and why you are making this life-changing decision to go for a master's degree, and that that's more like writing, and so that should come at the beginning of the essay or the paper or whatever, and then tell them who you are with based off of your personal experience. If you have any work experience, if you have anything that you have done that is very inspiring or anything, most of the time they look out for people who are people of impact. And so again, if you did some kind of volunteer experience or anything that you feel like would help you, let them know who you are. Aside the academics and everything, things that you do even for fun that inspires others, or things that you do that is helpful for others, let them know. Again, you also want to talk about how the university's unique program fits into your goals. And so you're not just choosing any other university, you're choosing this because they have this and you have identified that and you feel like this is the best fit for me. And so that's one thing that you need to put into your statement of purpose. Again, you have to research. So if there are professors in the university that you want to work with, and so from my experience and from speaking to professors and things like that, they want to know or have people bring people on board who already know where they are going. And so that way it's just more of mentoring, coaching, and helping you get to your destination. So you want to research some professors over there at the university that you want to work with, or even if you've read maybe one or two articles they have, or maybe seen them teach or do something, you have to mention it in the statement of purpose. That way they know that you're well informed about the university and you're not just coming in as a novice, or you're not just coming in because you want to come to school, but if you've taken any personal interest in the school, let them know through your statements of purpose. And you can do that by writing it and letting them know that, hey, I researched this professor and I feel like this person will be a good fit for me. I think my goal aligns with this person. I can work well with this person. That way when you come in, you already know what you're about. You're not just about to figure out things, and you're not going to waste time. And so putting in your experiences, researching on the university, and explaining why you think that school is the best fit for you. Remember, it's your goal and it's your aspiration. So if it doesn't fit into what the university has, you can just move on to another school, right? So I don't know if I've answered the question.
Yeah, so thank you for responding, Irene. Let's go to Safari. Safari, you have to unmute yourself. Irene is listening to you. Go ahead with your question. So
Hello, can you hear me?
go
Yes,
ahead,
I can
Safari.
hear you.
All right, okay. I think I have about three questions, but one has already been answered about
Okay.
someone who came already and he was talking about having diploma first and then also enrolling for 2 years top up. I have similar issues, so I think that one is off. The next one I want to find out is when it comes to applying for scholarship,
Okay,
I'm a teacher, and that is what I want to.
Safari is having a bit of network issues. Quite unfortunate. Let's talk to Ban. Ban, how are you doing?
I'm very good, Fred. I have a series of questions for Irene. Um, First and foremost, I would like to ask. I was told if I can apply now and then probably let my admission start maybe around 2026 or 2027. I don't know how true is that. I'd want to find out first. And secondly,
No,
I'm a
no.
final year student in.
Let's listen to the. Let's answer the first question. I don't know if Irene got you, but I did not.
I think he's asking if maybe talk about deferring his admission. So maybe if he got admission right now, if he can defer to a later term or a later year and come to school that time. I think that's what he's trying to. So Fred, if you'd want to answer that.
Yeah.
So can you repeat your question? So you said you can apply now, get admission, and then defer.
Yes, because they were like, probably you could make your admission start around, let's say, 2026 or 2027, even though you've applied now. So I wanted to know how true it is.
Okay, so it depends on the school. Admissions for the next academic cycle, every university have deadlines and all that, right? So it depends on the university you're applying to. Normally, it's a year ahead. So it depends on also whether you'll be able to get hold of your other document, because you said you're a final year student. Which university are you?
KNUST.
Okay, so if you're able to without graduating, if you're able to lay hands on the English proficiency letter, your certificate, your transcript, and all that to start your application, then yes. You had a second question, sir.
Yes, please. So the next question too is with regards to the she made mention that we have legal working hours, and then in some previous videos past, a guy made mention that he works for himself, like he actually leaves school to go and work to make a bit of money aside the scholarship and everything he has on campus. I don't know
Was it
about
on
it,
this?
or
Was it on this platform?
yes, please. It was like he does media work, photography
Uh,
on the side, yeah, to gain money.
I don't remember if it was on this platform, but of course, if the person is in a different country, for like in Canada, the work timelines differ from the US. So in the US, as a student, you're supposed to work 20 hours on campus when school is in session. It is when maybe on vacation you're on CPT, or what we call curricular practical training, or when you're done with school and you have the OPT. That is where you're able to do that. So let's give opportunity for other people to also come on. Anita, how are you doing? Anita, you're muted, so kindly unmute yourself. Anita, can you please hear me? Please unmute yourself and go ahead. Okay, I think Anita is having network issues. So let's talk to Fanny. Fanny, please unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. So Irene, I wanted to ask about if you mentioned that when you work for 20 hours in a day. So that means you don't have any other work. It's just the stipend that you get. And you mentioned that it was not enough. So if it's not enough and you don't have any source of income coming from anywhere, what do you advise we do? And I had a second question also. Um, for me, I had a second class lower, and so it was a bit difficult. I've been trying. Before I wanted to go to France because I did French. I did French as my major, and so I've been trying to get into France. But with the second class lower, it's difficult to get a full scholarship because of the second class lower. So
Yeah.
I want your advice on certain things I should do
Mm-hmm.
to be better and all of that. Yes.
So Irene,
Yeah.
if you can pick the first question, I'll
Yeah.
come in again.
Sure, I can answer the first question. So I don't know, but my brain is getting foggy a little bit.
I
But
can
you were
answer
talking
the second question and then
about,
you.
he was talking about working on camp. What is if it's not enough? So one of the things that I mostly tell people is to, like I had mentioned that the legal hours to work on campus, and for you even to maintain your F1 status is to work legally. And so once you're working legally, you're working 20 hours, and the 20 hours of work that you're doing, the money is not going to be enough, but you have to manage and do some kind of life adjustments in order to stay in status, because if you work outside of campus, you're going to have trouble with immigration, you're going to have trouble with the law and things like that. I don't know where people talk about working outside of campus and things. I cannot say anything about that, but what I know is that you want to maintain your legal status and you want to maintain your F1 status, you want to maintain your funding and everything, because doing things that you are not supposed to do or things outside of what you're supposed to do can lead to you being deported or you being even sacked out of the United States and things like that. And so just make it's not easy. Once you're in school, it's hard, but as you move on and you get the opportunity to do some kind of CPT, OPT, which comes to good money, you're going to be okay. And so now, for now, you just want to adjust your living to the status and the amount of money that you have, so that way you don't get into trouble, which will lead to you being deported. Because it's funny that the US has, United States is United States, and information is very easy to get here. And so some people might think that but just try to be in status, try to do the legal stuff, and just pray God to take care of you. The money will be enough for you to live your life, okay? And I don't know if you can get into contact with me personally. I'd want to talk more with you about what you want to do or how you can go about. But Fred is going to answer your other question.
Yeah, funny. Irene doesn't normally do this, so that means You know,
Yeah, I just like the way she was talking. Yeah.
yeah. So funny. We'll try and see. Connect you with Irene. It's difficult to get in touch with her. It's not easy to do. So I think she
Don't
likes.
worry.
And so
Anything for you, Fanny.
yeah, let's talk about your other question about low CGPA. So I think
I think
Fanny is
the baby-
freezing.
her video is she's so excited.
Yeah, Fanny, you're freezing already. Okay, so oh, she's gone.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk to another person. So Josie, I think it's been difficult connecting. Josie, can you hear us now? And if you could go ahead with your question.
Yeah, yes, I can. Hello,
Yeah,
guys. Thank you so much, Fred, for all the efforts you are putting in. In fact, I must acknowledge that you're doing so well, and I appreciate you for that. So my question is, I've had a partial scholarship for a PhD in one of the universities you shared here. My issue is I was hoping to get a fully funded scholarship, but I couldn't, or the school does not offer fully funding. So my question is, are there any external platforms where we can access other funding apart from what the school is ready to offer?
yeah, sure. So I posted this morning. I posted a video that I on TikTok. I would highly recommend that you check that. Oh man, Josie is gone. Oh, okay. So Josie is having a bit of network issues today. Oh my God. Okay. Josie, your connection is a bit unstable, but let me know if you can hear me so I can go ahead.
Yeah, I can hear you. There's another phone here that I'm watching from. So
Okay, great. So Josie, what
yes,
I'm
I have
saying
an
is that
alternative phone I'm watching with.
okay, I posted a video on TikTok today on my TikTok handle. You can check it out. So I was basically explaining about 10 different pathways you can use to get a scholarship if your admission comes with a partial scholarship or it didn't automatically come with a full scholarship. There are a lot of options. One, reaching out to the financial aid office. Two, checking out the employment side of the university where they post most of assistantship. Three, you can get an assistantship from a different department in the school. And that was what my second university offered me. I was a research assistant in a different department and not my. So if you're able to check out that video, I explain a lot of ideas and information that would help you to get funding to support your education. Let's talk to only Anita. You are muted. You have to unmute yourself, only Anita. And Anita, COVID is gone, and we cannot give you COVID on online.
I think she said this.
Right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, Anita.
I'm glad you can hear me. Thank you so much. My question is, currently I'm in the United States. I'm in New York, but I came with a B1, B2 visa. I'm looking to become a student. Is that possible? That's my first question. Secondly, I started following you not too long ago. So based on what the teachings you gave, I realized that I came with my certificate and all that. I tried to use my Ghana certificate, realized that I can't do that. I went to Legon, I did physics. So I realized I have to use the West, and it's a whole, I don't know, I can't really comprehend the information there. I'd like a little clarity on that. And then thirdly, I already have a bachelor's degree.
Can we respond to the first two questions so that we don't lose that? So yes, you with any category of visa, you can definitely adjust your status, like move to a different. So if you're on B1, B2, yes, what you have to do is to first of all get admission to apply to a university or a college to get admission. And then when they issue the I-20, that is what you can either talk to a legal attorney, go outside the US to get a visa, or even use the interview waiver option to also get the F1 visa. So first of all, apply to a school. The second one, you were talking about transcript evaluation. Yes, a lot of universities, some universities require a transcript evaluation. Good enough, myself, Irene, I have attended 2 different universities. All of them did not require evaluation. Irene did not do transcript evaluation. So what you have to do is to opt for a university that will not require the transcript evaluation. So let's pick the third question.
Then my third question is, I realized that community colleges are cheaper than normal universities. So I was thinking my inclination was to enter a community college, do a 2 year, then I mean work, get money, then go to uni. I need advice on that. Is that a smart move?
Unfortunately, there are a couple of things I cannot say on online, but of course, community colleges, as you know, are cheaper. So it depends on your interest and what you want to do. I wish to get in touch with you privately. If you could schedule a meeting, that would do. There are some of the things I cannot talk about here, but
Like that.
definitely apply to a community college. Of course, it's very easy to get in, and the cost of attendance is also cheaper as well. But of course, if you are going into a university which you get a full scholarship, then it's comparatively better. So why not opt for the one that will give you a full scholarship? That is, if that is what you want to go in for. It definitely depends on you, Sister Anita. All right, let's talk to Greg. Greg, how are you doing?
I'm good, Fred. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Irene, how are you?
I'm
Great,
doing good. How are you?
great information. Yes, I'm really impressed by your eloquence. I think
Thank you.
that shows that you are a communication person. I have a comparative literature, master's in comparative literature. I'm a professional teacher myself, and I'm looking at doing a communication studies, especially classroom communication. I would like to know which
Okay.
classroom communication, yes, which concentration are you studying for your master's?
Okay, so I'm studying communication with a concentration in a cultural communication. That's why I kept on stressing on cultural competence and things like that. So I am interested in learning how people communicate across barriers and what are some ways that we can be diverse and inclusive and things like that. So that's my concentration. And I like the fact that you talked about you having experience in teaching. And so if you want to go into communication, you can go into pedagogy, which literally means in layman's terms teaching. And so if you're applying for a communications program, you can emphasize that you're interested in pedagogy, which means that teaching. And so I think with your experience in teaching and everything, you can have like a good statement of purpose, and you already do have the experience. And so you can go ahead and apply for a master's in communication with a concentration in pedagogy. So yeah.
No, okay, thank you. But my second question goes to Fred. Fred, please, can I come with my dependent, or if she's allowed to work in the USA on my visa as an international student?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, as an international student, you can get 3 categories of visas. It's either F, M, or J1. J1. So, if you are an F student, of course, you will be F1. Your dependent can be F2. This could be your spouse or your kids. You can definitely come with them. That is, if you're able to produce or have the funding, from the school or there's whichever source to be able to support it. Yes, you can come to with your dependent, right? But in the US, dependents are not allowed to work legally, on F2 visa. But another thing is that when you come in with F2, it doesn't mean that you should stay on F2. You can switch to an F1 or another, adjust your status or switch to another category of visa, which may, as a student or any other category, that could allow you to work there. So the most important thing is normally how you enter the system versus where you want to switch to or whatever you want to do going forward. Listowell, I wanted to talk to you.
Last one, please. Please, last one.
Relax. So, Listowell, you wanted to talk to you right after Gregor, but I think okay. So, Gregor, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Last week, I followed your interview with the slide from Canada, but his handler, I have difficulty contacting him. I don't know whether you could give it out again.
Yes. So I think Sly actually have a Telegram page that he shared with me. I'm trying to look for it and post it in the chat so you can click on that. Let's see right now. Yes, I think I can.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I can get it. Let me do it before I forget. So
exactly,
I'm going to post it in the. Yes, it was a Telegram handle Sly shared with me. So if you check the comment, I am posting it there right now. Thank you for joining us, Greg. Olivia, please unmute yourself and go ahead. Olivia, you've joined us, so please unmute yourself. Okay, I think Olivia is also having a network issue. All right, let's talk to Gabby. Gabby, how are you doing, sir?
Yeah, well, thank you for adding me. Recently when Irene was talking,
Okay, Gabby, relax. Try and pull your your headset. I think if you leave it normally, we can hear you, because right now you're blowing the ears of my listeners and viewers. All right, I think you can talk normal
Right.
now. Gabby,
All right.
relax. Irene is here. She's not going anywhere. She will talk to you.
Yeah, hello, Irene. When
Great.
she was talking, she made mention of the visa interview that maybe when they ask you your source of funding and you will be telling them one of your uncles or someone is supporting you. And right now, I've had admission with Purdue University, and I don't have any source of funding yet. I'm still in the process of applying for a scholarship. The only source of funding I have right now is an assurance from one of my uncles who is willing to provide his bank statement to support me. So, will I be wrong if I tell them that's the source of funding I have, if in case they ask me at the embassy?
So I'm not saying that's a wrong thing to say, but I'm saying that most people have
Yeah.
used that line or that phrase, and they don't just talk more about why. Because your uncle
Mm-hmm.
obviously might have kids and things like that. So why is he willing to sponsor you? And so again, carving your story in such a way that if another person was sitting behind, the person would be like, okay, because you do have very good maybe educational experience or background in things like, oh, you're exceptionally good, and he feels like you be beneficial for if he's able to help you and things like that. So I'm not saying using the uncle story is bad, but how do you tell that story to make people believe you, to make sure that he's making the right decision? Because your uncle obviously might have kids, he might have family, and sponsoring somebody to study abroad who is not directly related to you in terms of not being part of your nuclear family is a huge investment. So why would somebody want to make such a huge investment on you? And so how you tell your story and the things that point to what you want to do, and how he feels like it's helpful to do that is very important. So I'm not saying the uncle story is not a good story, but how do you tell that story? So think about how you can craft that with your goal and your aspirations and things like that to make it sound believable, for lack of better words.
All right, Gabby, you're muted. So,
Okay.
Gabby, which campus? Purdue University, which campus?
Northwest, please.
Oh, okay, great. I have a couple of friends there. I wish you all the best. You'll definitely be fine. Let's talk to Olivia now. Olivia, you're muted. I think you came on. Let's see if we can hear you. Olivia, can you hear us?
Yes,
Oh,
please. Hi, Fred.
yeah. Go ahead with your question, Olivia.
Okay, so my question is actually directed to you. I started my transcript evaluation process, and then my second school actually don't have that electronic system to send my transcript to West. So I had to send them, and I mean, they had to send it through DHL, but I took the transcript from the school to send it. So it was denied, and then according to them, my school didn't send it. And then the instructions they gave me was that my school had to send it in a sealed and stamped envelope. So I'm confused here. I don't know because I sent it or they stamped, or I mean the envelope was not prescribed. I don't know what the problem is. I just need
Okay.
clarification on
Olivia, so sorry about that. I know how much it costs and stuff like that. So here's the thing. When you ordered the transcript from your school, it doesn't have to be addressed to you. Your school should address it directly to West. And so if even you are going to send it via DHL, the from address shouldn't be you. It should rather be addressed directly from your school to WES. So you can go and pick it up and go and send it. But it doesn't have to be from you. It has to be from your school. And it doesn't have to be open. So the difference between an official and unofficial transcript is just you opening the envelope. That's it. So you don't have to open that envelope given by from your school, and just tell your school that the brown envelope or whatever envelope they are putting your transcript in, they should simply address it to DHL. They can put it in a second envelope to you so that when you take it out, you just have to post it, meaning that it is coming directly from your school to WES. The reason is that they don't want instances where you, the applicant, may tamper with the document. So one of the reasons for the WES evaluation is to authenticate that it's actually Olivia that attended this university, and she actually got these qualifications and all that. So sorry about that, but please push through, do it again, and then this time around the address sent should be from your school to WES and not from Olivia to WES. Okay, let's talk to Peter. Peter, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. This is Peter, and I'm following you live from Uganda.
Uganda in the building. Okay.
Yeah, so I have about 3 questions, though I don't know whether you'll be in position to answer.
Peter, before you come in, Irene, I don't know. We are done like 2 hours now. Do you want to still go on or
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Peter, if you can go ahead with your question now. I think your Irene's friend is back. Fanny is back. So
yes,
it would be like real quick. Eh?
Okay.
So the first question is okay, talking about transcript evaluation. I'm not very certain, but I think mostly US schools would need transcript evaluation, given that most schools use the out of 4 scale, but in Uganda here we use the out of 5 scale. So I was wondering, how can I do the transcript evaluation? Like, which steps can I follow to do the transcript evaluation?
All right. When it comes to the transcript evaluation, you simply have to, create an account on WES website. So you go to wes.org, and then you can now send your documents and everything to them, and they are going to work on the evaluation for you. So your school would actually post it just like Olivia was saying, and then they will do the evaluation for you.
Okay. All right. Then the next question is just in case a person is to get a fully funded scholarship in a US university on a program, because personally I was thinking of doing a master's in health informatics in one of the US universities. So just in case a person gets a fully funded scholarship, or even if it's a partially funded scholarship, which expenses at least should one expect that they are going to incur on a personal basis, like besides the costs that the scholarship, be it fully funded or partially funded, will cater for? Like which expenses should I at least be prepared for to handle on my own?
I think Irene would help you answer.
Okay. So I'm sorry, do you mind going over the question again? I was a little bit distracted. So
okay, my
expenses. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, my question is just in case I landed on a fully funded scholarship, or even if it's a partially funded scholarship, which expenses at least should I be prepared for to cater on a personal level?
Yeah. So personally, if you land some kind of funding, you should, if it's a full funding, you should anticipate to pay students' fees, university students' fees, and you should anticipate to pay your rent. So maybe rent, money for food, transportation, if there's none. But I know that most universities have like free transportation for students, so like buses and things like that. And then just your health insurance, if your university is not offering that, and just money to take care of yourself and your personal needs. So that all forms part of your living expenses. So money for food, money for accommodation, money for other things that you would need. And so, but if you do land maybe a partial funding, you need to find out how you can pay the deficits of the money that you have to pay for yourself. It's a partial funding, right? So, but if it's full funding, you need to think about just personal living expenses and other university fees that come with the university. So I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, you have. Then finally, just in case I missed out on a fully funded scholarship and I got up.
You're muted, Peter. You're muted.
It's quite unfortunate, Peter. We have to talk to other people. We may be able to respond to your questions some other time. So Fanny, you're back quickly, and then we go to.
Okay, so my second question was about me trying to apply with the second class, and I think my network I had issues, so
Yeah.
I couldn't get the response to it. So, and also I heard that Irene said she wanted to give me her details so I can contact her. So please, how can I get that?
Ari, you want to give your social media, or maybe she should get in touch with me and I connect.
Yeah, I think that please get in touch with Fred, and then he can get you through me, and I think that's going to be very effective other
So
than
Fanny,
social.
you send me an Instagram message, the Fred Effect, and you just
Yeah.
introduce yourself, and then I will.
Yes, please.
Again, I was talking about the second class lower is not a limitation. It shouldn't stop you from applying to schools in the university. Just like I said, how you talk about yours. I think that you even have an advantage of being bilingual, right? You can speak French, which
Yes,
is
I can
actually
speak a bit of French. Yes.
yes, which is actually an advantage. And so how you carve this whole story about your personal experience being bilingual and things like that can give you an advantage over somebody who is not bilingual, right? Because communication is very diverse. You can have different fields, different professions in communication if you want to be in communication and everything. So being bilingual is even an advantage. So don't let the GPA stop you. It's about how you tell your story and how you put in the work and things like that. I'm very positive that something good can come out of your experience.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I think I'm good. I'll contact you so that we can move
Yeah,
on.
yeah, sure.
All right. Finally, let's talk to Electrical. Please go ahead, and then we draw the curtains.
Hello, Fred and Irene.
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
I am from Kenya, and I got admission with University of Hartford to do Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering. So I've been searching for scholarship, but I've not gotten any. So the total, I think the academic year was 66 K USD.
Is it a
But
master's?
they gave
or,
me
bachelor,
undergraduate Bachelor of Science.
Okay, so just like I
Yes.
told a sister some minutes ago, I posted a TikTok video explaining the various means you can use to be able to get a full scholarship once you hold admission. Remember, not all the admissions automatically come with scholarship. So if you go to TikTok, search the Fred Effect. I posted it. I've even pinned the video. I took my time to explain all the pathways you can use to get a full scholarship once you have admission. So I think that the last person we'll be talking to will be Comfort today. Teacher Comfort, please go ahead.
I'm so lucky. Good morning from my side.
Hello.
My name is Comfort. I'm from Ghana, and I'm a teacher in Asia. Not a qualified teacher. When I was in Ghana, I was teaching as Kufuor, those days, Kufuor teacher. They normally call us Kufuor teacher, not the qualified one. So through that, my service and then dedication, somebody recommended me and I traveled. When I came here, I came as a teacher. I've been teaching for 5 years, and I have now developed interest to become professional teacher. So there I'm planning to travel to US, to further my education. But then I'm not good at maths. But any subject that comes with reading or any other thing, I can do it. But I don't know which course I should offer. That's why I joined to, get clarification about this.
All right. Ari, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the fact that so first off, we're going to change your language. So you were saying that you're not qualified and things like that, but for me, with a 5-year experience, I think you are qualified. So please, let's not use that language and say that we're not qualified. You are qualified. You have 5 years working experience, and I believe that if you're to be put into any teaching or
I have
any
done,
instruction,
I have learned a lot as well. They have trained
yeah,
me. I have
yeah.
done courses.
So basically, you have the experience. So I think that right now you should be researching on some programs in the US that would be a best fit for you. So in terms of you not liking math and things like that, so maybe anything instructional or any kind of job that or education that's more focused or centered towards teaching. I'm sure you find a number of them online, so you can start by Googling or researching on programs that you feel like would be a best fit for you based off of your interest and the experience you have. So I don't think that, and also be checking for their requirements. So if they're requiring that you have a math background, if you're not requiring, just know the program and then the requirements, and then you can find out where you would be a best fit for. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, great. So we have to quickly wrap up. So Irene, I appreciate your time and effort, and
Okay.
I'm also happy for your journey. I'm super proud of you up to this extent. So thank you for making time to join
You're
me.
welcome.
Let final words to anybody listening to Irene. If people want to get in touch with you, what will be your last words to anybody who is watching us, being motivated by your story, wants to be like Irene and study
Okay.
up, and also be on a full scholarship? What would be your final words?
So my final words is again talking about the fact that whatever you believe in, whatever your faith is, I believe in God, and I believe that with God all things are possible with prayer, hard work, and dedication, and things like that. So, in order for you to be able to take the first step, you need to put in the work and trust that God would help you and He would be merciful to you to help you. You might not land the full funding like I did. You might land the partial funding and everything, but whatever it is, whatever limitation and obstacles that we have starts in the mind. So if we're able to conquer that mind fear and be able to make sure and be determined that we're going to do this, just give yourself some, if you just say to yourself that next year I'm not going to be in Ghana and I'm going to use Study Abroad and I'm going to put in the work and I'm going to put in everything that I need to do, and then trust me, it will work out for you. So every limitation that you will fight, the journey is not smooth. It comes with a lot of frustrations, a lot of disappointments and things like that. But at the end, it's all for the greater good. And so if you're willing to carry the crown, you should be able to bear the cross. And so make sure that you're putting in the work and you're making time and making use of resources like Fred and the good work that he has done. I'm a proud alumna of Fred Effect. If not for this channel, I wouldn't be here today. So I just want to put it out there that this gentleman is doing a lot of work. And also, the most important thing is sometimes you guys, when you text him, it's not all about what you want. Please sometimes leave him to rest and relax and things like that, because he also needs that kind of mental space and things like that. So I'm just wishing everybody the best, and it's not impossible. With God, all things are possible, and everything is achievable. So make sure that you're working hard towards that. So thank you for having me, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity. If there's any other opportunity to speak, I'm happy to help. I'm happy to talk. And my social media handles, I'm on Instagram with a very weird name, Strawberry Ginger. I'm on Facebook with Caroline Irama Lutrot. I'm on LinkedIn with Irene Marta Lutrot. And also I'm on, yeah, that's where I'm on.
Oh, so you're comfortable with that people getting in touch with you, right?
Yeah. If
So
you
I
have,
will share Irene's social media platforms. If
yeah,
you want to get in touch, follow her on Instagram, and she will be happy to respond to your questions.
yeah,
We have to end it. It's been like a fruitful conversation. I
yeah,
appreciate everybody for joining.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Irene. So it's been a great one. Thank you. We'll be here next week, and be positive about the entire process. Everything will be fine. It is possible. Some of us have been able to make it. So can you. At the moment, my team is assisting individuals with high school and diploma qualification for bachelor's degree. We do have the mock interview platform. We also have the mentorship program, the same mentorship program that assisted Irene to get here there's still a mentorship program. You can get in touch, and then we can take it from there. My name has been Fred. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Fred Effect. I'll see you in another one. Please be positive. Everything will be fine.